50 years, the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund has helped less fortunate.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Grammer. Wounded Warrior Project supports injured veterans by connecting them with fellow warriors, by serving them through mental health and wellness programs, and by empowering them to live on their own terms. No one should face a battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
There was this one time I went snorkeling in the Caribbean when I was a kid. It really just blew my mind. We saw the most beautiful corals. I remember thinking they were waving at us as they moved with the ocean. And then there were all these amazing fish. I'll never forget it. It completely changed the way I look at the ocean.
Most of us have a memory of being in nature we'll never forget. Let's protect the world's natural places so more memories can be made for generations to come. Visit worldwildlife.org.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses who work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Hi, this is Jared Mans from the Spring Lake Fire Department, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
All right, folks, here we are. Where are we, Don? You know where we're at. We're on Thunder Thursday.
Well, I thought the answer was Kingston Community Radio.
Well, we are. It is Kingston Community Radio, Thunder Thursday. This is Thursday, December 16th. Is that correct? Did I get that right?
16th. 8 more shopping
Yeah, days. Man. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, let's just introduce ourselves so people can accuse us of...
Yes, boss. Go. Fire away.
Tony Marmo.
Maybe I shouldn't say fire away.
Yeah, that's probably not the best. But
and Donald Williams. Good morning.
Good morning. It's good to see you again. I don't know. It's been a month.
Great being up.
It's been a
month. I love waking up in the pitch black.
Yeah.
To come and see your happy, smiling face.
Today is going to be...
glasses you had on today.
I know. I'll put them back on for you.
I don't think the camera's on today. It's too bad. When the camera goes, we should definitely model those.
Yeah, glasses. I don't know. Let's see. Let me get Lawrence and contemplate your navel for a minute.
Contemplate my navel?
Lawrence, the monitor's not on.
And Tony wants to see his image this morning. So we have lots to talk about this morning, Tony.
The button's not on. I forgot to come in and turn the button. See, I was late.
Okay. Now I think we're all technical difficulties.
There's a little growth on the chin.
I know. I woke up late this morning. Forgot to shower, forgot to change.
How was Florida? You were in Florida, right?
I was. It was hot. I went down to see the Giants. They lost.
Right. Oh, the Giants lost. That's amazing.
Yeah, they lost.
Isn't that a foregone conclusion?
It was. And then the weather was nice, though. But then when I landed back in New York, it was 55.
Right.
The day I landed, I was like, God. And then today it's supposed to be what, 54?
Somebody said the 60s.
Tomorrow.
No. Today is
the 60s.
Yeah.
No, I woke up a little late today, so I look a little scruffy.
All right. It's good. We'll cover for you.
Thank you.
I had a horrible occurrence occurred to me yesterday.
What happened?
I'm so glad you asked. See, when I said a horrible occurrence, you really did.
I was like, my
interest.
eyebrows raised.
Does it pique your interest or pique your interest?
I think pique is better than perk, but go ahead.
I've been told, I should say, the most incredibly large, beautiful birch tree in the front of my house. that I have been sinking so much money into every year to
trim and this. Oh, thanks.
Because it got birch borer.
Birch borer, yeah. Yeah.
And I had to have it taken down.
Wow, that's terrible. What did you do with the wood? Anything that the guys have?
Well, the guys are, it's
gigantic.
3.
Yeah,
Huge
4.
Trunks. I lost a trunk, one of the trunks a couple of years ago.
Man.
Huge trunks. They left me some
Yeah.
small pieces, but they're picking them up today.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, I had to.
That's probably good burning wood. I know you may not want to burn
Supposed to be
a
some of
tree.
the best.
Yeah,
but you have to
hardwood.
season it.
Yeah, it's great.
It just looks nice in the fireplace.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know, during the summer.
So
when
that's
you
a big missing part. to
It
you.
is. That tree.
So what do you
Bought that house in '91. Couldn't afford it. Couldn't afford it on an assistant DA salary for 10 years.
Right.
Fortunately, we had kind of 2 incomes at the time.
Yeah.
And now that tree, it was just a cord. This time of the
So
year.
how low? 30, 40-year-old tree, 50-year-old tree? It's hard to say.
I bought the house in '91.
And that
The
tree was
house
big
was,
then.
I think, planted at. The house was built in '47.
Mhm.
So probably planted in '47.
Wow. Oh, that's a shame.
It is a shame.
Yeah.
It's sad. And
Yeah,
this
the
time of
birch
the year,
borer, ash
especially, I
borer.
had
Yeah, what?
uplit or uplighted.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with the English grammar today.
Yeah, there's
This
a lot
time
of.
year, come home and see that beautiful tree with
Yeah.
all lit up nice.
Well, you got to think about a replacement then.
I have, and first I have to have the roots dug out.
Yeah, that'll be-
Unfortunately, it's right by a gas line.
Oh, Lord. Oh, boy.
I'm trying to get
Yeah.
Central Hudson
Yeah.
to come and mark off where the gas line is. I hope nobody from Central Hudson is listening.
Well, we have to make a little call to our good friend John Masurgeon, who's a guest on KCR, Thunder Thursday.
Maybe too late. I'm scheduled to have the.
Okay.
I'm scheduled to have the excavation
All right.
done today or tomorrow, and I've followed all the guidelines, but
Sheesh.
can't get Central Hudson there.
Did they ever
Sure they
catch
will
the
let me
boar?
report.
Did they catch the boar that put the tree down?
Birch borer?
Birch boar.
It's going to be a long morning. What time is our first guest?
Well, I mean, those things are.
Here, something has occurred in my life that is literally ripping out a part of all those wonderful years coming home, looking at that birch, knowing I couldn't afford it. And now it's going.
It's a little warm in here.
You know, it's normally quite chilly.
Well, because it's like 50 degrees out today, and Lawrence has it set at 106 in here. Normally, it's either cold or hot, 72. So why don't we give some condolences to the family of former Mayor Richard White, Dick White, who is an amazing guy. I think.
Yes, he was.
The only was it a two-term Republican? I think I read which is kind of unheard
of.
of.
Been the only Republican mayor that I can remember.
Well, I think wasn't John Amarillo one or Pete?
Oh, wait a second, John Amarillo.
I think
he
John-
may have been
a Democrat. Democrat.
He may have been.
The other fella, Italian last name, Pete. I can't remember his name, but I will.
Also,
they're few and far between for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the time of year. It seems always around the holidays. Peter Matera, who was an assistant district attorney that worked under me. Two people.
Oh,
Peter
two
Matera
Peter.
also.
Oh, Peter Matera
Peter was
worked
a
in
town
I
judge,
didn't-
town of Vesuvius.
Yeah.
He was a part-time assistant DA. Great person.
Oh yeah, he was in our Italian organization.
Yeah, hard-working, tough prosecutor, but fair.
Yeah.
He passed. I think he was 60.
Yeah, Peter was 60. Yeah.
And then Peter Graham, who was an attorney, lived in town of Ulster. And Peter was also a part-time assistant DA when I was district attorney and did a great job. You know, it's rare that you have people work for you that you never get complaints about. I never got a complaint about either Peter Matera or Peter Graham.
Yeah, it's a sad time for their family, certainly, so our condolences go out to the White family, the Graham family, and the Matera family.
I'm sure
So,
there are probably many more, but those are the ones that come to
yeah,
mind.
yeah, well,
I know my former wife died on Thanksgiving Day.
yeah, Leanne's mom
Something-
passed away on Thanksgiving Day, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of a, yeah, I mean, look, it's part of our existence, right? We lose folks and some
Well, the older we
natural
get,
causes.
now that I'm at the tender
Right.
age of 68, about to turn 69,
Yeah.
we seem to experience so many more of our contemporaries that are passing.
Well, this is what happens. It's the cycle, right? The life cycle.
Yeah.
So let me upscale this a little bit.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, so
although necessary and appropriate, it certainly isn't very up.
Yeah, no, exactly. If I was listening on the other side, I might just, on the other side of us, the listeners.
We don't have guests. Oh, you mean on the radio? Let's go back to being silly.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
I ran into Lisa Spada.
Okay.
Recently, who is the mom of the young man. I can't believe it. We get old. We had the young couple in.
Oh, yeah. The Brooks.
The Brooks.
Yeah. Taylor and Jillian.
So excited that she watched the show to see her son.
Yeah, they're great.
Daughter-in-law.
They're two dynamos. They're really
that was, I
very
think,
encouraging.
One of the easiest, most entertaining interviews that we've done.
Yeah. No, they were well prepared. Very, very good. Now, I was going to brag on our Italian organization a little bit. We had a nice meeting at Frank Guido's Little Italy on Tuesday night, our December Christmas mixer, and we had about 80 people there, and it was just a great gathering and a lot of energy and, good spirit, good feelings, despite, what else is going on in the world. We know the COVID situation is stepping up again, but folks it was a vaccinated-only event or bring proof of, that you don't have COVID, a negative PCR, whatever.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Is that because of the new law?
Well, I think we're just trying to, when we're putting 80 people together.
Oh, yes.
It's a
responsible.
And exactly.
I guess.
And so I think we have to in this day and age,
I have significant mixed feelings about it, Tony.
I
am
do
fully
too.
vaccinated. And as much as I really do not like it, I wear the mask when I go in, especially now that the governor said that she would take my firstborn male child if I did not.
Right.
How are they going to
enforce that? Yeah, I don't know. Because Dutchess County's not doing it, Orange County's not doing it.
Really?
Yeah.
They've just said
Republican county executives are saying,
Anyway, I have real mixed feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the reasons. I don't want some president or his spokesperson lecturing me about that it's a patriotic duty.
You're right.
And I obviously
serving your country is a patriotic duty, right?
I do agree that you should take into consideration how it can impact others when making the decision. But
look, there's the science of it, there's the politics of it, there's a humanity of it in terms of folks that have been affected. Peter Matera, I think, one of those.
Peter Matera was one.
So we know it's real. We know it's there. Lawrence and I were talking about it on the way up this morning.
You
Florida
guys spent the night together?
Were
you out together last night?
That sounded really messed up. The answer is no and no.
Wait.
I know that. Yeah. Could you turn and show that to the camera, please?
They're my glasses.
I know they're very stylish.
They're drugstore glasses.
I like
they're
them.
Clear glasses. Is that?
Do you wear those to read, Tony?
Yes.
Or?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're just readers.
Because I need to wear
he
glasses
wears
like
them
to
for
drive
other
and watch
purposes.
TV,
Yeah.
but not to read.
Appearance.
You did not wear them to the Italian American.
I did not. No, I did not. I had my black ones on.
Pitchforks and
right. But Les Lombardi was. We're off. Back to the towns for a minute. Where Les Lombardi was president. I was president for 4 years. Les Lombardi 2 years. Now I'm president again for 2 years. And then
no one else wanted to step up and be president.
We have some people now in the pipeline. Anthony Tampone.
No one.
We have the same problem in Lions.
Yeah. No one asked you.
One person asked.
Well, you need to be a member, or you are a member.
I didn't say I would say yes.
He's still teetering. Tony.
No, we'll get him. I just brought an application.
No one had asked me.
No, I know. Well, okay.
Do I have to reapply because I was a member years ago? Why not? How about
because
if I
they
just
expunged the record.
Something. Another one of my the murder trials was just affirmed on appeal again.
You're kidding. Nice. Which one?
Speaking of expunging my record, you may be what There's some psychological issue about
Right.
this that I'm always jumping like
Yeah.
3 steps ahead.
Yeah, that's okay. Where this is going. Well,
I'm
that's
very
your
proud.
training.
I was talking to John Prizzi, was my
Yeah.
court attorney, who was such a tremendous
Mm-hmm.
aid to me. I really thought of our relationship when I was county judge as a team, but never, not one reversal after trial.
That's very impressive.
Thank you.
That's very impressive.
Said that almost being sincere.
That was very sincere. That's about as sincere as I get. I mean, on a
this-
scale of 1 to 10, on the
How could you
sincerity scale,
When you're telling me how sincere
probably,
you are in applauding my efforts of not being reversed, could you take off those silly glasses?
I was about to try to read something. I have to remember to. Here, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you because I happen to grab 2 different glasses. These don't match my outfit. They're
relatively speaking, they're not as silly.
Okay. All right. These are brown, even though I have
Please,
black
all
on
you had to
today.
do is tell me that your lovely wife picked
Picked
those.
them out. No, she didn't pick them out.
Stuck my foot
No,
in my mouth
no, she
so many
didn't.
times.
She didn't pick
stuff
them out.
like that. Anyway, go ahead.
So,
now that you have respectable glasses on.
Well, yeah. No, let's.
You reading announcements? Because I got.
Yeah.
I got
Let's do that. We'll take care of the. Well, this is right up your alley.
Can I borrow your
You
silly
could borrow
glasses?
these. You could borrow these.
This ought to be interesting.
Yeah. They're 150s, dude.
I have 125.
Okay. Okay, so you're gonna.
Also-
You look like a judge.
I can't see myself.
You look like a judge.
Wait, why are you wearing his glasses? Those are yours? Oh, those are yours.
Those are mine.
But you got glasses on your shirt. You got you got glasses everywhere.
What are you talking about? I knew that. I was just doing that for a little comic relief.
I like those glasses.
Those are pretty cool.
Now, you didn't buy those. You didn't buy those at like Rite Aid or something. Where those
No,
are
I
prescribed.
got them in Staples, actually. Got them in Staples.
Really?
Yep.
Are you sure? That's
And you
what
just walk in and start trying them on until they.
They have a rack of,
No,
glasses.
my friend Roger does that. He
Yeah.
walks in, he sits there for like 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and he just
I mean,
goes down the thing. And he's like, "Those are the ones."
Find the 150s.
What
and
about
it's-
we all get together online and do a smash and grab, which seems to be the thing to do of
Right.
reading glasses.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna sit
Yeah.
that one out.
Yeah.
Okay, which one am I doing?
Well, you can do whatever one you want. That's
This one looks extremely complicated.
Yeah, I would do this one.
Why don't you go first, since you're going to do 1 and 3, and I'm doing 2.
Okay, this is from our host, Super Wednesday host, Greg Chorvis. Kindly be advised, Court Drive between Washington Ave and Pavilion Street in the Cantine Sports Complex will be closed periodically starting Saturday, December 18th. Must be doing some construction there. Effective Monday, January 3rd, Court Drive will be closed permanently for an undetermined time and duration. Additionally, Court Drive, along with the area immediately adjacent to the south, will be closed to the public with no pedestrian access permitted. The above measures are required to accommodate excavation and base installation for new pickleball courts.
Every community should have pickleball.
There you go.
Pickleball
Along with
is a blast.
They're shifting.
You ever play it?
No, I've seen
If
it.
you do, don't bring those glasses.
It's the only way I can hit the ball. So Court Drive is going to be closed temporarily and then shifted a little bit to accommodate the new pickleball courts, which are cool.
And then I have an announcement you didn't give to me, but it just came to mind.
Okay.
The city of Kingston
Yeah.
will be closing Broadway for the next 10 years so they can figure out what in God's name
With
they're
the
doing.
bike lane? Yeah.
The bike lane, it's 1 lane. It used to be 4 lanes.
They're
now they have-
done paving though now, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it doesn't
Sure,
matter.
but I think
No, I
we're
know.
waiting for
It's-
signs.
Broadway, 1 lane. Do not attempt to travel Broadway around 9 a.m. or 5 p.m. 1 lane each way? What were they thinking?
It's a little
Yeah,
congested.
I'm going to predict eventually the bike lane is going to be removed.
Well, the second question about the bike lane, and then
Yeah.
we will get to the announcements. Who rides a bike on Broadway? You have to be absolutely out of your mind.
People that don't have jobs.
Yeah.
That's gonna
Maybe.
be-
No, not
I see a
on
lot of people
Broadway.
riding bikes around town.
Oh, yes, I ride a bike around town, but on
Right, but you probably
Broadway,
ride in your
how can
neighborhood.
you get any exercise on Broadway when you have to stop every 100 feet for a stop sign if you obey the law, and you have people riding in and out
We
of
have a
now
great
what's-
rail trail on 209. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is incredible.
And you
But
can,
you're right,
From
some
what Cameron
people,
Rylands tells me, you
Green
can
line,
ride
yeah.
that thing all the way up to Olive, right?
some people have to ride a bike.
Yeah,
That's
so, I
certainly
mean,
understandable.
It is true for
to get to
work purposes
But you
or
take the
yeah.
back, you go one block away. You
Well,
know?
the other thing is they used to drive it on the sidewalk, ride it on the sidewalk. I mean,
yeah, they're
it's-
still doing that, too.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, right, exactly.
Not as much, though, now with
I
the
don't know.
bike lane.
Back to the truly significant.
Right.
Sorority's VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 5034. What a great org. I spoke there one time. It was such a pleasure. I was DA, in fact. Everyone is invited to remember, honor, and teach wreaths across America. And the Sorority's VFW Post is sponsoring a bus trip to Saratoga National Cemetery to remember the fallen, to honor those who serve, and to teach our children the value of freedom by placing wreaths on the grave sites. That's Saturday, December 18th. This Saturday, December 18th, $15 a person. There will be a bus leaving from the Greco Senior Center at 10 a.m., return at approximately 5 p.m. You will have a cash lunch stop. So the $15 is used to purchase wreaths. And
Cool.
the checks are made payable to Sorority's VFW Post 5034. Sorority's VFW Post 5034 in the amount of $15. P.O. Box 152 Sorority's. P.O. Box 152 Sorority's 12477. What a great.
Yeah, it's a great idea. It's a
It's,
great.
you know, the greatest generation, and we just
Right.
people younger than we are simply don't realize.
Yeah, we don't.
Sacrifice.
Right,
made.
absolutely.
Anyway,
Absolutely. So this is a Saugerties Day. After a 2-year hiatus due to the pandemic, the Saugerties Sports Hall of Fame will resume their tradition of honoring those who have made a significant impact on Saugerties sports history. As the Sports Hall of Fame enters its 59th year of existence, that's a long time, in 2022. The induction banquet will take place on Saturday, April 9th. Doors open 5 p.m. So it goes from 5:30 to 6. The honorees are Pat Caffrey, Jay Dodig, Mark Herb, along with Steve Einer Martin, and Jimmy Spires.
what is the organization? It's the Baseball
So-
Hall of Fame. Or
Well,
Hall
I
of Fame
think it's
across
sport.
the-
I think it's any sport. It doesn't matter.
Sororities.
Yeah, they're an amazing
has
community.
such a tremendous history in sports. I remember, I believe his name was Jack Keeler, who really was influential. I think Jack passed, but what a great man he was, and so influential in organizing. You take a look at Cantine Field.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And how they organize that, and you wonder why Kingston can't do something similar, even though we have Deet Stadium. But
We were up, Leanne and I were up to Saugerties for the Holiday in the Village that Bob Siracusano and others put on, and that was, they close off the street. I presume that's Main Street up there, I'm not sure. And it was just a great event. Music, horse-drawn. This was a couple of Saturdays ago. Really nice. And we went
Did you go
shopping.
to the one uptown Kingston? I heard it was packed.
Yeah, we did. The Italians, the Snowflake Festival. The Italians served 6
Snowflake
gallons.
Festival?
The Snowflake, 6 gallons of hot chocolate. 6 gallons of hot chocolate, and we ran out. We were in.
How about some
well,
nice
we put
red
a little
wine?
anisette, a little anisette, in the
Little Zambuca.
Little Zambuki. Yeah.
Zambuca. What is Zambuki?
What's Zambuki?
Zambuki? Is that really a word?
When you drink enough of it, you call it whatever the hell you want. I mean,
Talk about a hangover, and I've never had a hangover.
it's an at the end.
Sambuca in the coffee?
Sambuca in the coffee.
Oh, yeah, man.
Sambuca straight. in
Yeah,
coffee.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
I-
that stuff has so much sugar in it.
Well, you don't put a lot in it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You're not supposed to dump half the bottle
What
in
the
there.
heck is the sense of drinking it if you don't put a lot?
Actually,
flavors.
Speaking of drinking, and not to interrupt you two, Guess who's back on Saturdays at La Canard? I know
Diane.
She is.
She sent me a
She's
text.
back on
Diane
I know you're not a Saturday dweller at La
Saturday's
Canard.
hard for
but
difficult.
when I got back from Florida, I was happy to find out that Francois and Diane were both there. I was
Jean-Francois.
Jean-Francois.
I know
is
no
back.
French. Studied French in
Only
high
those
school.
2 words.
Jean-Francois.
Actually,
And
every man in France, Jean.
Jean-Francois.
Jean-Jacques, Jean-Francois, Jean-Claude.
Is Jean-Jacques still nuts? He's crazy.
Yeah, he's nuttier
What
than
a
ever.
great.
He's still cooking good food, though.
He is. That food is.
Or should I say Elvis is still cooking good food.
Is there somebody called Jean?
Probably. There's Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Where is this
Oh,
guy?
man.
Anyway, Diane is literally one of the finest. What is the appropriate politically correct?
Mixologist?
Mixologist.
That's a good term. I like that. I like that.
No one's called a mixologist.
Bartender is really.
I mean, that's what. Yeah. If you're our age, that's what you were. You're
bartender.
a good
What else?
bartender. But
She
they
is
call them in the
unbelievable.
city now. They're called mixologists. You still got to go to bartending school, dude. Okay.
You still
But
have
she's
when you
top
get a
notch.
drink from a mixologist in the city nowadays, you have to wear full body armor. I mean, what is the most recent rule in New York City?
I don't know.
Well, I think Eric. You know what? I think there's hope because you know what? Eric Adams is going to come in. He's going to demand that the assembly, the senators, New York's
Yeah. De Blasio is
lawmakers
horrible.
go. Well, they need to go back and get this bail reform thing fixed because usually this time of the year is one of the most beautiful times
I
to
think-
visit New York with the Rockefeller trees and
frightening.
Yeah,
It's
the
frightening.
governor's support on that too.
So New York City has a lot
Our
to play
local-
in with politics.
local
I think Adams
legislators.
gets that.
Local legislators.
Supporters
Yeah, I think Adams
on
gets that put back
bail
together.
reform. Once again, the legislators across the board, especially in New York State, overreacted. It was an issue. Bail reform had to be addressed. And it was mainly in the town or village courts where bail was being set, for example, in a shoplifting.
Right, I
of
understand
$100.
That makes sense, but
don't throw.
But to just throw the whole
baby
thing
with
out
the
is
bathwater.
ridiculous.
But it's typical of when activists, whether liberal or conservative, activists grab a politically sensitive theme and
Right, make it a-
market something that does grave injustice. And
It
that
is. And
bail
if
reform-
AOC had her way, she'd let everybody out of prison too. So
Yeah,
let's just
it's
be
a-
happy
well, that's
that
a
crazy
crazy
not
world.
running the state.
One of the squad wants to author legislation to close all federal prisons.
Well, they're actually trying to do it in California.
Oh, okay,
and-
so that we know that
I think
that's
Tony wants to get
never
off
going to
the
happen.
subject. He seems
No,
He's got
no, I
something in
want,
his hand
I want
he
to,
wants to read now.
I want to talk about the Happy
Oh,
Christmas
yeah,
Fund.
let's talk about that for a
Yeah,
few
because we've done well. I mean,
We did really well.
You talk about the process because you're on the sending end now. You and mostly you, but Gene as well involved. But so tell the folks, where you're at with distributing. You're doing well. You're doing
it's
amazing.
out. Yeah, this year, biggest year ever. We actually beat last year's goal, which was amazing. Last year was great. We did even better this year. All the families, the cards went out last Thursday. However, out of the $70,000 or $69,000 that was
Right.
pledged, the record we've only collected about
58,000. Yeah.
So last year, I think when we were going over it over the summer, when we were meeting every month, I think we were like 4,000 or 5,000 light with the collecting. There's just so many papers. I'm going to have to sit down next week and go through check by check, which there's quite a,
Right.
quite a bit of it. She hasn't even deposited all the checks yet because she's deposited quite a bit of it. I think she's going with the bank with the last ones today, but.
So the point is, if you have pledged and haven't sent in your money, please do so.
Please.
It's P.O. Box 4364, Kingston, 12402. You can, I don't know.
You
drop
can
off
Venmo
your-
it if you don't feel like going to the post office.
That's Lawrence.
You can walk it up to the bottom stairs and leave it in the KCR box at 16 Lucas Avenue.
The Venmo.
You can call me and I'll come get it from you if you want. Or I'll send Tony over.
What's your Venmo?
The Venmo is Lawrence Maxwell with a U, Laurence, Maxwell like the coffee, at Kingston Community Radio.
Right. So there you go. So a lot of kids and families, some seniors will have a normal Christmas, as normal can be these days.
Yeah.
And because of the Happy Christmas Fund and
And Don just
contributions-
raised another
500.
500 this morning.
I know I'm not supposed to mention it, but I really would
That's all
like
right.
to
You can
plug
mention it.
this
It's a pretty
person.
big donation.
This person especially. I mean, all of the lawyers that agreed to contribute, honestly, I was surprised.
Well, it's new, and it's because of you. Seriously.
And they have never donated before, so
They
that's
haven't.
great. You did a
So
good
thank you.
This is, I made a bunch of calls to people. I singled out the people that I knew their firms were active and knew me. And one firm I called, Ryan, Roach and Ryan. I spoke personally to Bill Ryan, who I know, back at the time that we started this, which was, about a month ago? I don't recall.
November.
And
Well,
November
the
4th
event was on
the day of
November
the event,
4th.
but we started calling people probably in October.
In October,
Left a message. The person said that they would get back to me. They didn't, and I had totally forgotten about it. There was not a pledge made at all, but they said they'd get back to me. And then this past week, I received a call from Bill Ryan saying, "I'm so sorry I didn't get back to you. I just want to pledge $500."
Yeah.
I went, well, Bill, what a gentleman.
Up until last week, those letters that I sent out, the 1,100 letters, I'm still getting a few letters still in the mail. Arctic Adventure, they sell snowmobiles and four-wheelers out in Rosendale. They were on the list of my list.
It
last
really
week,
is.
$200 check came in from them. I'm like,
amazing.
unbelievable.
Yeah, the
Really
community
is
has been
amazing.
great.
It
really is amazing how the community does this. Go ahead.
We have to go to break.
Before we jump to break real quick, why
Yeah.
don't we talk about our new hosts that are going to be starting tomorrow? Normally they would be starting tomorrow. Me, Fred Costello and Joe Sinaga are doing tomorrow's show, but 2 weeks from tomorrow, we have two new hosts that are starting.
Right.
One of them's been here for years and years, Fran DiPetrillo.
Fran.
But Dan
Okay,
Gruner
right.
is joining the team here at KC.
Right, that's great.
Dan
Me
is
and
actually
Tony
a
have been
good
trying to
dude.
get. Dan's been
Dan's-
pinch hitting for Tony.
Yep,
and
Dan's
coming in. We've
amazing.
been trying to get Dan on the radio for some time, and we're very excited about having him on the team now.
Dan's great.
He
I
brings a
did,
lot to the table. He's
Yep.
very active in the community. He knows a lot of people.
As is Fran.
Obviously, Paul Gruner. It's his nephew. Dan's a great guy, so we look forward to their show. The Dan and Fran show starts
Dan and Fran.
New Year's
Although
Eve.
I think the deference goes to Fran and Dan.
Fran and Dan.
Put the glasses.
Whatever.
Fran and Dan.
I think it's going to be a great show.
Yeah. Thank you to those folks.
Fran is magnificent.
And thanks to Reverend Don Mapes, who's pinch hitting for a couple of shows.
Oh, yeah, that's right. For
When
Val.
is Reverend Mape? I would
He's-
love
he's
to
on-
appear sometime with
Yeah.
Don Mape.
He actually talks lower than you, if you could believe that. I had to jack his mic all the way up.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
me and Tony, we project a little better than you.
I don't have an inside voice, Judge.
Something never
Just-
in
just
my career did anyone accuse me of being
a low
You're
talker.
great, Don. You're great.
Hello, talker. All right, let's go to break. Coming back with Kevin Gilfeather and Steve Kelly at 8 o'clock. So,
Okay, great.
thanks.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM. And also online at mykcr.org.
Have you ever experienced a wish come true? For a child battling a critical illness, a wish come true can be a turning point. One song, one dance, one game, one adventure, one moment changes everything. Make-A-Wish needs your support to grant the wish of every eligible child. Visit wish.org now to help grant more life-changing wishes. Together, we can transform lives, one wish at a time.
Hi, I'm Steve Thomas for Habitat for Humanity Restore. Habitat Restores are nonprofit home improvement stores and donation centers that sell new and gently used furniture, building materials, and appliances to the public at a fraction of the retail cost. The Ulster County Restore at 406 Route 28 in Kingston needs your donations. Call our hotline at 845-853-7499 to schedule your free pickup. And thanks.
This is Greg Jarvis, and once again, the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund is asking you to help the needy this holiday season. For the last 50 years, the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund has helped less fortunate families have a happier holiday. Look for our collection boxes at the local branches of the Ulster Federal Credit Union, Rondout Savings Bank, the Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, Ulster Savings Bank, and at the Kiwanis Ice Arena in Sorges. Thank you very much, and have a happy and Merry Christmas.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? By shifting to a system that gives more patients access to strong primary care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
Screening exams for breast, lung, or colorectal cancers are necessary to detect and treat disease at its earliest, most curable stage. But you may have some concerns and questions. Answer your questions and ease your fears by visiting radiologyinfo.org. In addition to information on screening and wellness, you'll find more than 200 descriptions of radiologic exams, procedures, and treatments to help you prepare. Get informed and be prepared. Visit radiologyinfo.org, produced by the Radiological Society of North America and the American College of Radiology.
Hi, this is Winnie from the Rosendale Seniors, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio has been brought to you by the First Savings Bank in Ulster County that still remains local to this day. Ulster Savings Bank, a community bank that's invested in local business, invested in community, invested in you. Ulster Savings Bank, your one-stop resource for everything local. Locations throughout the Hudson Valley and online at ulstersavings.com. Member FDIC.
Okay. All right, folks, we're back on. I think Kevin Gilfeather is...
I heard a horn go beep in the parking lot like someone hit their alarm, so...
MIA. So
Kevin's always on time.
Yeah, so,
okay.
yeah, we hope he's okay, too.
He was late to the board meeting on Monday night by 10 minutes.
Kevin used to be always on time. Let me rephrase.
He is a very punctual person, Don.
All right, so we hope he's okay, and we'll catch him on the rebound in 2022. Did you ever think...
Isn't that crazy that we're saying that already?
Gonna make 2022, man.
Bye, man.
Let's hope we all make 22.
I hate to say this, high school graduate, 1972.
That was the year I was born.
10-4, and so...
You graduated high school in 72?
Really? Something he was really well preserved.
I was going to say, you don't look like a guy that...
Pickled, man. I'm well pickled.
I'm pickled.
So we've heard.
So, you know, when you graduate high school, you're thinking, like, 2022 is just in another lifetime.
So what, your 50-year reunion is coming
this
up?
This year. John Jay.
I went to
Patriots.
my 20-year reunion, and there was like 180 people there.
Yeah.
It was up at Skytop, the Kingston High School class of 91. And that was, I graduated with 530 kids.
Right.
What am I?
Now, where'd you go to high school, Tony?
John Jay.
Oh, you went to John
Jay?
Jay?
I went 2 years to Our Lady of
John Jay
Lords.
in
Hopewell Junction. Or as we call it, Hopeless Jungles.
I remember Lords High School.
I went there. I went there 2
Lords
years.
That's where you
First,
went?
Very good basketball.
First 2 years.
No, I went to Kingston High. We
you
played
went to Kingston,
Lords
okay. Yeah.
basketball, and they had for a relatively
Small school.
parochial school.
Yeah. Well,
they had a hell of a basketball.
They could recruit a little bit, right?
How many kids did you graduate with, Tony?
372.
Oh, okay.
Did
So
Tony,
that's a pretty big school.
Tony graduated? Because there's some question.
Well, there is a question about it, but I stole someone's identity, actually. And
he stole a GED out of the
person's student academic record.
When your folks or grandparents came over from Italy, was the name Marmo, or was it a longer name that was shortened?
No, it's
funny that you say that, because I have a friend, actually you know him, Dino Demosthenes.
Oh, yeah.
Demosthenes is not really their last name. It was his father's first name.
Oh, geez.
And when he wrote it on the thing, they put it down as his last name.
Oh, you're kidding.
Demosthenes was Jimmy, Denny, and Dino's father's first name.
Oh, how cool is that?
Right, yeah.
Interesting.
Takes us to an issue that you said you may want to discuss.
Yeah.
Now, was there, at that time, I know there was a great deal of immigration.
Right.
Was that immigration
20s,
done
30s.
legally? Was it?
Yeah.
I majored in history at Seton Hall University in college.
I would say yes.
But I didn't study that era.
Because the immigration laws were wide open, and this country was welcoming laborers and people.
Unless you were of Asian descent, it was not wide open for the Asians coming in. There was
back in the day.
Oh,
so my grandfather came here in
horrible.
1905. My grandmother's family came in the 1890, mid-18s. So, this time I told us on the radio, I think my grandmother did not want to marry my grandfather because he was from the old country. They sent him over on an arranged marriage, and
Really?
they did. So because she was born in this country, she wanted to marry an American, and they said, yeah, no, you're marrying Antonio because we already made a deal for 20 goats.
Made a deal?
They made a deal. They made a deal.
They were the good old
The
days.
Magicis and the Marmos made a deal. So
what happens if you didn't like the deal?
it's
It's called
no- you
divorce.
know, that part does it.
yeah.
divorce.
Back then, you just
As a
made it
Roman-
work.
as an Italian Catholic.
Yeah, that
you-
was
you
that would never
divorce.
happen. So, yeah, and Antonio could not.
I'm really curious. I wish I'd
Yeah.
studied that. We should have asked the young Brooke
Yeah.
fella about that.
You know who also knows the Italian history is Nina Postyapak, Nina Albany, our county
Sure.
clerk. But yeah, I mean it's the same with the Irish and the Germans and the
quotas?
Polish. I don't think so. I think it was wide open.
I know the
think
Irish.
I think it was wide
Irish
open.
would get off of the boats, and immediately they would be soldiers for the North in the Civil War.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Well, great movie, the Gangs of New York, right? Leonardo
I mean,
DiCaprio.
I'm not sure how close that was to
I
reality.
think
but
it
a
was.
good movie.
I think it was pretty good. I think it was pretty close. So, yeah, a lot of discrimination happened to all those immigrants that came over. Where my mom and dad grew up in Harlem, in East Harlem, between 116th Street, 120th Street. All Irish, German, Polish, Jewish. All melting pot. And they, they got along. They did what they needed to do. I'm sure they didn't get along at times, but each block had their own kind of ethnic group, just like Kingston.
Absolutely.
Just like Kingston. I mean,
Yeah, sure, you
and
had
the Italians
Pencocchi
came, and the D&H Canal built by mostly Irish immigrants, and so
Hard
German.
working.
Yeah.
Hard working.
So
Hard fighting.
Hard fighting. Leanne's great grandfather, I believe, great grandfather. Pretsch, and her grandfather came from Germany to run the what's the Dutch Reformed Church that's going
Dutch
to
Church or the Dutch
not this one, the one that's out by off of Word Street going to the bridge.
I don't.
Oh, is that
on President's Place?
not Lutheran?
Yeah, it's Lutheran. It's Lutheran. Yes, it's Lutheran Church. So he
Cam
came.
belongs to that church.
He came in the, I'm going to say, early 30s or late 20s, and didn't speak a word of English, all German. And the population in the parish was all German.
I used to love to go down to the Immaculate Conception with Father John, which was so Polish. Every time I went, I would go principally
White
on
Eagle.
Palm Sunday, and they would ask me to speak along with.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
finally I'd be sitting next to either Hugh Reynolds or Kevin Cahill, which really was an exciting moment in my life. Although I enjoyed Hugh, he was.
Yeah.
But it was going down there and seeing a Polish church was so cool.
But we're losing or have lost a lot of that. It's been, I'll say, somewhat sanitized and homogenized. The ethnic art,
Which is good, but I just wish we could also still
keep the traditions.
claim and keep our traditions and our roots.
Yeah. I mean, those ethnic groups that have a different language, the Germans, the Polish, the Italians, they had a harder time assimilating which is why, my dad and mom household, they spoke Italian, they didn't speak Italian to us because they wanted to homogenize, they wanted to assimilate into.
Which is great.
I guess that's, but you lose the
traditions.
Right.
Traditions, look, there's some traditions that are horrible. We understand that.
Yeah.
We have to move past them, but there's so many good traditions in either religion or heritage.
So I look at what's happening today and a lot of the racial strife and saying this country's been here before and we can get through this if we want to talk about it, come to the table, agree on what we can agree on, and then what we can't agree on, let's not make it personal.
The two-party system has. Maybe it's always been this way. I don't know. I hate politics, but the two-party system, the way that it is devolved in our nation, where the votes that you see routinely in Congress are
along party line.
Vote this way, Democrats vote this way, and then you have a president that, and maybe I shouldn't do this, but I will anyway, who
You're not in the bench
election
anymore.
Basically because, I could never do or say anything when I was on the bench. The ethics are so strong. But, in fact, I stopped coming on Kingston Community Radio for the 10 years I was on the bench, and I used to be a regular as an assistant DA and DA.
Right.
But, at some point when the president wins an election, principally because people were sick of Trump.
Right.
Maybe not his policies, but sick of him as a human
personality.
Being.
Right.
As a human being, he's the most narcissistic.
Yeah.
But some of the policies were quite good and needed. But we elect somebody on an anti-Trump movement and also based upon his repeated claims that he was a uniter. That he would unify this country. And then suddenly he takes a hard turn left, and he's a little left of Karl Marx, at least. I don't even know if what he's saying is what he really believes. Somebody's got those strings behind him.
Yeah. Well, the financial picture is also very concerning. I mean, I think our country is in $29 trillion debt.
Well, I think the best way to
is that even?
Yeah, the best way to get around that is to have another bill which will cost about $5 trillion.
Oh, so let's make it
1.7. No, but that's going to be paid for.
Yeah, and look, the Republicans are guilty as well.
This is not about Democrats and Republicans.
It's just
that's why I said
policy, but it's buying votes. It's buying votes is what it is.
And the Supreme Court of the U.S., suddenly we don't like some of the potential decisions of the makeup, so what should we do? Pack the bench and change the demographics, which is not what the Supreme Court is supposed to be about.
Yeah.
It's really offending. And I have to admit, I was equally offended every time I heard about another tweet from Trump. It would just give me, as we in the Italian, agita.
Right, I know exactly where you were going.
Would you tell the guy to get off of Twitter, for God's sakes?
Yeah. So last time the country had a balanced budget was when do you think? When do you think the country?
Probably the birth of the nation?
No, no. It's in recent history. It is in recent history.
I'm sure it was not, but I'd have to say Ronald Reagan. But I'm sure
a little bit beyond that. Actually, it was
after that.
Bill Clinton. And the reason, one of the reasons,
as left as he was, when he was president, he took the middle. At least he portrayed himself as taking the middle. He actually was but for his wanderings.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's the only
the fact that he was morally bankrupt. He was a good president.
Yeah, exactly. I think so too. I think he had the benefit of the stock market explosion that happened.
Well, he also learned,
at the end of the 2000s.
If I'm recalling, when he learned from the disaster that was Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, right.
And he came in initially when the economy was really struggling.
Yes.
Wasn't it him? It's the economy, stupid.
No, I don't think that was him.
That wasn't Carter. That wasn't
Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton. I think Clinton.
I don't think so. That's more like something one of the Bushes would say.
No, it was what got him elected over one of the Bushes.
It's the economy, stupid. I thought Ross Perot said that. Maybe I don't. Possibly.
Ross Perot was too busy plucking chickens, for God's sake. Ross Perot, what a comic he was.
Oh, yeah, like a cartoon
Clinton
character, right?
Learned that it was not the way to go if you wanted more than one term.
Yeah.
He
so
ended up.
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to decipher really, and try to. It's hard to point.
The budget was actually balanced.
Yes, it's because correct.
How far
we might have even had a surplus in this U.S. Treasury. This is
as you said, the stock market.
The stock market
crazy.
Took off like crazy.
He was right. It was the economy.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I'm going to look that up when I have a chance, but
I think that was Bill Clinton. Who else could it be?
I don't know.
It was not a Republican.
If somebody knows the answer to that, please call in 331-9255. Give us a call. Lawrence is here. Ready? Reading the New York Post?
I'm reading.
Anything
I'm
good in there?
actually shocked with some of the stuff that I'm reading.
Well, that's because you're probably just looking at the pictures.
Yeah,
the
right.
Post Sports.
I read 3 newspapers a day.
I am not saying you, Lawrence. I'm saying the Post.
The Post is an
the
interesting
only thing that is
newspaper.
worse is what is it? The
No,
Times.
the Daily News is way
The
worse.
Daily
than the
News
Post.
is horrible.
Never read the Daily News.
Don't,
Post has
because it's
wonderful
it's so
sports
far to the
section.
left that you can.
And by the way, you have
Daily
to
News.
You have to
Oh
buy
my
a subscription
God,
to the
yes.
Daily News now. You can't. You can read a couple of free articles. The Post lets you read
the
as much
Post
as you
now.
want.
tell
You
you,
have to sign on
Do you ever
the
read
Post.
Miranda Devine's column in the
I
Post?
see
She
her-
is really good.
I see her on. Is it Fox News? She's good on Fox News.
She is. I like
mean,
the.
she's
I like the
conservative, but
Brits.
she's good.
I like the Brits. She's British.
You watch BBC. It's BBC is very good. Do you ever watch Sky News out of Australia? Oh, it's horrible. Bill Clinton, as he said it.
You got it. Ha! Aha! Very good, Judge. Very
Question
good.
my history.
Very good. Very good.
And was it
It's the economy's
stupid? God, they were bumper stickers.
1992.
Bumper stinkers. Bumper stickers. Yeah.
James Carville was a strategist for Bill Clinton.
Carville is one
Carville was
funny.
a character, man.
He is one funny.
He is
I will not
another
repeat what
cartoon
he said
character.
about the one individual that made an accusation against Clinton of sexual harassment. He had a comment that I just thought was way out of line, but hysterical. And his wife, Carville, was very liberal, and his wife was very
Yeah,
conservative.
she used to be on the Imus show. I remember listening to, I can't remember what her name was.
Don Imus. There's
Don Imus. Yeah, I used to love him.
I think, wasn't he the original Shock?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
What do they call him? Shock Jock?
Shock Jock. I think so, yeah. Howard Stern, too, another guy.
Howard Stern was just...
You guys watch Yellowstone on Paramount?
Yeah, Leanne does, yeah.
Yeah, you do. You got Paramount. It's channel 47. It comes with basic.
But you had to pay for it.
No,
it comes with basic and expanded basic. You have it.
So I can get Yellow. I hear Yellowstone.
You got
is
it.
great.
I'm not a big Kevin Costner fan, but oh my God, it is. You watch it, right?
Yeah,
I think
Leanne
we had
watches
this
it, so I
conversation
watch
at the
it.
Giant game.
Yeah.
In every episode, you're like
Yeah.
sitting there on your seat.
I'll have to watch it.
You got to watch it. This
There've been
season's
some-
even. It's really
there
good.
are
But they're
some-
coming down. We got what 2 or 3 episodes left in the season.
Yeah.
It's
Can
in
you,
season 4.
Can you back?
Yeah.
can you go
You
back
can
on the
record
Yeah,
it.
it's
You
all
can
on
record
demand.
it.
Yeah, but you got to watch it. It's
No,
like,
but I mean, can I go now through Spectrum?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
you
Get
can.
the
And
back.
record the
You
whole.
could go-
yeah, you got to search for it.
You could actually go to
I'll help you.
Paramount Plus, I think, and watch the whole.
Yeah, Paramount Plus. I
You got to live stream that.
I
though,
pay
don't
for
you? Stream it?
Spectrum. I pay for HBO.
Oh, I know, dude.
pay
My
for
cable bill is like
Showtime, I have
$200.
Disney Plus.
Yeah, that's-
I have Netflix.
I
have-
know, it's
I have
ridiculous.
Sirius. I have
Stupid,
so-
man.
I'm
It's a few
wondering-
$100,
To
right?
watch TV
But-
is like a car payment now.
I know. It's
Spectrum
crazy.
alone is $200, but then I pay for Netflix and Spotify and
Yeah.
Amazon Prime and
Hulu
there's some
and
great
this, that,
Hulu.
Yeah. Just give me a
Disney
TV
Plus.
antenna and
Right, remember the good old days with the rabbit ears?
2 to 13.
You would get 4 channels.
2 to 13.
Talking about that, Joe Marchetti. Did you know Joe?
I love Joe Marchetti. Good
Joe
guy.
has moved
Marianne.
to Carolina
Yep.
with his wife Marianne.
Yep.
They came back to visit, and they
Oh,
were at the
nice.
house last night. We listened to Christmas music,
Oh,
listened
nice.
to Joe talk. He talks more than I do. And I wish I had thought, when you asked me at the last minute, which you always do, to bring a guest
I
in
know.
for 8:30.
Yeah. Joe would have been
should've-
great.
Joe is one
Yeah.
entertaining.
But you did
bright.
you found somebody great.
It is either going to be Elizabeth Camoni Mills, who was a young assistant DA that
Okay.
I hired.
Okay.
She is magnificent.
Okay.
She's
great.
now the head of Dave Clegg, DA Clegg's Domestic Violence Bureau.
Great.
She is such a good lawyer and good person. If she cannot make it because of childcare issues,
Right.
then I hate
Then-
to keep going to the well and asking Dave.
Right.
But the DA Clegg has said he will come if Elizabeth.
Unless he's playing basketball at 8 o'clock in the
He
morning.
is one hell of an athlete.
Yeah.
Boy, is he
Still-
is he a competitive?
Yeah.
I know you know. After I served my second term of DA, after 30 years, I decided to go out into private practice and make a bunch of money.
Right.
And Dave hired me. I have to tell you something. I know that lots are being said about the crime that is occurring in Ulster County and some of the incidents that have occurred, but I found no lawyer who is as fearless as Dave Clegg in his willingness and ability to try cases. He was solid. So we're going to have one of the two of either, and Liz is just a special case. A great story, too, because here we have, she married a police officer. That's why it's Elizabeth Camoni Mills. But you can call her Liz Camoni. She accepts that.
Great.
But
how about just Liz?
Out of respect for
all right, we won't do that.
People that dedicate their lives to protect the innocent,
right,
and bring
we wouldn't
to
use the
justice
first name.
Those that are guilty of serious crime.
I'm on that.
I would not call her Liz. When I was on the bench, I would call the ABAs by their last name. Camoni, you've got something else to say?
Yeah, that's good.
Last name.
You know, you didn't use a surname like Mr. like a
if
prefix.
I used Ms., Mrs., or Mr.
Right, it was
time for them to shut up. That was, or if the hand, Gruner used to say, "Don't show me the hand." Paul Gruner.
Yeah. Don't show me that.
Came out.
Yeah.
I didn't have a gavel.
Right.
I had Mr. Gruner and the hand. They hated the hand.
Do you think they had on there's a lot of great judges that we've had in this county over time, but do you think the lawyers had like a little shorthand book about, here's what we do with Judge Williams, here's what
Absolutely.
we do?
I don't know if it's a shorthand book, but
it's,
I'll give you an example if I can keep this brief, Tony. I'm sorry.
You got 6 minutes.
You don't want
you
me
could
to
do
talk
it.
for
You
6
go
minutes. Are you
ahead.
kidding
Yeah,
me?
go ahead,
I could
please.
take the next 2 segments out. I still feel that position was so fulfilling. And
Yeah.
I have so many great and also tragic memories about
Yeah,
it. I
sure.
really want my son to write a book. Anyway.
Yeah.
Where were we, Tony? What was
Well, we were talking about the handbook about, so if lawyers came,
one of the things that
did their
lawyers
homework
that
about-
appeared in front of me regularly, one of them was Major Gold, who was just a great assistant public defender, that we occasionally
Great
would
name,
have
by the way,
battles, but he was always respectful. We always talked about things after in chambers, discussed them. But when defendants, after they have been convicted, or after a trial or after a plea, they have the right to speak at sentence. I cannot stop them from doing that, nor would I want to.
Right.
They also have a Fifth Amendment right to say nothing.
Right.
And I would tell, and I could not ask any questions of any defendant at any time unless they chose to make a statement at sentence. And what would occur is that if someone chose to make a statement, I would not hold it against them. If they chose not to make a statement, I would not hold it against them. But should they choose to make a statement, and I would tell them before we started the sentencing,
They're already
every
sentenced,
one of them,
right? They're already sentenced.
no,
at that point?
I'm about to sentence them.
Oh,
They know typically, other than after trial, they know what the sentence will be because that is a part of the DA's plea bargain.
Right.
If I
Okay, so they know
agreed, I
the
would
deal.
say this is the best you're going to do. I'm not making any
Right.
promises. I'll listen to arguments. So they have a right then to try to persuade me to change the offer and come down. And my offers were typically significantly greater than what the DA plea bargained for. So they have, and I would tell each one, now, sir, you understand that you have a right to make a statement. And should you choose to make a statement, and I would appreciate if you did, but if you choose to make a statement, I will not hold it against you. Should you invoke your Fifth Amendment right not to make a statement, I will not hold that against you. But should you choose to make a statement, please understand that then I reserve my right to question you about what you're saying. And I will tell you, and I can't say this will happen in your case, but I use this opportunity to determine whether your statement of remorse is an honest and sincere statement. Now, I have to tell you also that questioning, and I'm not trying to dissuade you. Honestly, I would like you to choose to make the statement because I don't get to speak to you. I don't get to understand what you've been through, how this happened. I know you've admitted guilt, and I know you've been convicted after trial. But should you choose to, I will reserve my right and I typically do ask questions, and I will tell you, it's not always very comfortable. And when I say it's not always very comfortable, when I say it's not very comfortable, I'm not talking about for me. Candidly, I enjoy the opportunity to have this discussion.
Who in their right mind would want to make a statement?
Major Gold
that,
would tell all of his clients,
zip it.
Choose not to make a
Fifth
statement.
Amendment.
Because, now, honestly, Tony, what I would do is I would cross-examine them. Then I can do it. But not to make their life more difficult.
I mean, unless somebody came up with a remorseful statement. No, so if I'm in that position and I say, Judge, I am sincerely apologetic of what happened. I'm sorry for what I did to the family, to the blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and there would be times, honestly, that I would actually reduce the sentence when I was convinced.
Unless you can go down that path.
It is rare that there's true remorse. And I hope I can say this quickly. I'll give you an example. Drug offenders, drug dealers, I would not put in state prison unless they were selling significant amounts or unless they had a lengthy history and every other effort to rehabilitate them failed.
Right.
But I would have people come in front of me, and typically, against the advice of Major Gold and all of the other lawyers that we'd say, even outside ones, do not make a statement, because he's going to cross you. And one came in one day, and I would be sentencing several people every day, and there'd be an audience there, attorneys and that, and the one guy came in and said, you want to make a statement? Yes. You understand? Yes. What do you got to say? And he'd say, Judge, I want to apologize to you. Why are you apologizing to me? Your case is no more significant than the one before or the one after.
Yeah.
When I'm done sentencing you, whatever I give you, I just go to the next case. This is my job. I fought to get this job. You don't have to apologize to me. I apologize to the community. Oh, really? Why are you sorry to this community? You admitted selling drugs. So that would go on. And then many of these people are extremely intelligent. Yeah. No. The one came in and said, and Judge, I want to apologize to that individual that I sold the drugs to. I had never heard that in my career. I said, why is that? And he said, because I'm an addict. I sell to support my addiction. I said, well, you've done it anyway.
Yeah.
But he says, and if anybody should know the horrors of drug addiction, it's somebody that's an addict themselves. So I want to apologize to that person. I said, that's remarkable, young man. And I said, I'm taking 2 years off your sentence. And then it went from 5 years to 3 years, and it sounds draconian, but that 3 years, he's immediately eligible for shock incarceration for Willard Drug Treatment Program. The Department of Corrections, anything 3 years or less, they can go right into the program. They still can do it. So anyway, I said, fine. I put him back in the holding cell where all of the other inmates that are incarcerated gather waiting for sentence. I go to the next case, we get done with that. I get the next guy up. And I said, would you like, yes, I would. Are you sure that? Yes. What do you got to say? I want to apologize to you. I said,
here we go.
And then he goes, I want to apologize to the community. And then I said, I went through it, and I want to apologize to that person. I looked at him, I said, did you, because they were all in the holding cell, I said, did you just speak to Smith about him getting 2 years less? And he looked at me sheepishly and goes, yes, I did. I said, you're not getting a break. And that's what
all right, we need to go to break.
We got to go to break. That's a great story. That's a great story.
We're going to go to break.
Yes,
and we'll
let's go to break.
Steve Kelly? Okay, great.
Listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed. We are a global force for good. Support causes that matter. Change lives. Change communities. Change the world. We can do more together than we can alone. Join in. Experience the joy of serving. Be part of the movement. Give back. Let's unite the world for good. We are Lions. You can be too. Visit weserve.org.
Have you ever experienced a wish come true? For a child battling a critical illness, a wish come true can be a turning point. One song, one dance, one game, one adventure. One moment changes everything. Make-A-Wish needs your support to grant the wish of every eligible child. Visit wish.org now to help grant more life-changing wishes. Together, we can transform lives, one wish at a time.
This is the story of Daniel, who was born 2 months early. His lungs weren't ready. His heart wasn't ready. His parents could only hope that one day he would leave the hospital healthy, and they would all live happily ever after. Daniel's is just one of the more than 500,000 stories of babies born prematurely last year. You can help the March of Dimes stop premature birth and bring more babies home healthy. Learn how at marchofdimes.com. Working together for stronger, healthier babies.
Hi, my name is Jackie Lovezzo. I'm from Lake Katrine, and I support the Kingston Community Radio because it is an invaluable resource to the community and its residents.
A powerful community bank is one that has leaders that are involved in their community. At Rondout Savings Bank, they invest in the success of our community by working side by side with local people and local businesses. When you choose to bank Rondout, you are part of a bank that is dedicated to the future of your success and the success of your community. Rondout Savings welcomes you to open an account today and discover what it means to be part of a powerful community bank, one that knows you by name. Rondout Savings Bank, always working for you and our community, with branches in Kingston, West Hurley, and Hyde Park, also online at rondoutbank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
All right, we're back on, folks. This is Thunder Thursday, and we are here, and you are there. And this is Tony Marmo. Judge Williams is wringing his hands in his face.
I have to still admit, and I would never really ask for, sometimes not even permit, when I was on the bench outside, to have people call me judge. I really like being called judge now.
Yeah.
It's respectful. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Anyway, this is Donald Williams.
Yeah.
The people in the audience do not have to refer to me as Judge. Tony Marmo does.
Well, it's funny. I have a friend, a Rotary friend, who's a town judge down in Rockland County, and I, referred to him in an email as "Thank you, Judge," and he said, "Please don't call me Judge. Call me Ron."
I will never say that to you. And I feel comfortable enough to say you are a good friend.
Yes.
I think we ought to do birthday.
I think we're going to do that right now. Why don't you read these two, and I'll read the wiener. Steve Kelly, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, my friend. How are you?
Good morning, Tony. Good morning, Judge.
Good. You are good, Steve. I can tell you are good.
Love Steve Kelly. Hold on, brother. We're going to do a couple birthdays, and we'll get to you just after this. So go ahead, Don.
We have a birthday wish first. Happy birthday to Rita Joyce, Joyce, from your friends at the Town of Ulster Senior Club.
Two first names, by the way. She could be called Joyce Rita, Rita Joyce.
Steve, thank God you're on with me this morning.
Go ahead.
Tony.
Yes, sir.
It's your turn to mention.
Oh, no, we have another. You have another one, don't you?
Oh, you want to do the winner? Sure.
Well, you already let the cat out of the bag. Go ahead.
I'm running for political office. Although I hear you're running for president of the Italian Americans.
Right, that I already got.
And the second is, please wish a happy birthday to Linda Moon from your friends at People Place. We hope you enjoy your special day.
Oh, yeah.
Tony, take it away.
People's Place is a great organization.
Yes, it is.
And the winner of the delicious cow pie from Boyce Dairy Milk House at 62 O'Neill Street, the famous cow pie. If you haven't had one of those things, get it. You can't eat it by yourself, though. You need friends. You need help. Here's the winner. That would be Linda Moon. Linda Moon! Now, Steve Kelly, you may remember Linda Moon from Kingston Hospital days, because Linda was the accounts payable supervisor for many, many years, worked in the business office with Mr. Pitcock, and she's a great individual. Known her for many, probably since about 1980 I've known Linda Moon.
Really?
Since I started at Kingston Hospital, yep.
That name sounds remarkably familiar. I knew Dennis.
Yeah, Dennis Pitcock, yeah, he's still floating around. So
yeah, he was quite ill.
Just a little walk down memory lane there, Mr. Kelly.
Yes, I remember Linda, and of course Dennis.
Yep.
Well, Dennis is unforgettable.
Right.
I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah.
How do you, Steve, I know Tony's quite good at this, how do you remember the names of all of the people that come through the hospital process? And you're very, very good at it.
Well, as compared to Tony, I really don't hold a candle at all. He has the most amazing ability to remember everyone's names. When I worked at Kingston Hospital, I'd walk around with him, and he would know everyone's names. He'd know their spouse's names. He'd know their kids' names. He'd know their dogs' names. He would know their dog's birthday and everyone else's birthday. He knew more about them than they did.
All this time, Steve, I thought I was special.
Remarkable thing.
I thought I was special because Tony occasionally remembers my name.
That's why I call you Judge.
Yeah, just stick to Judge, Tony.
That's where Judge comes from.
You don't have to call me Judge, Tony. You can refer to me as His Honor.
Thank you.
His honor.
But Steve, we all bring our gifts to the table, I think you and other, folks that went through Kingston Hospital brought their gifts, brought their talents, and it was just I'll say a conglomeration, a melting pot of ideas. We used that term earlier. That made us good because collectively we were better than any one of us individually, and that's kind of why we had such a good run there for many years. So
it was a fantastic run. I learned so much working with you, Tony, working for you, all the direction, watching what you did.
Right.
You had have an amazing ability to have people from sort of disparate backgrounds and figure out how to leverage their expertise and their skills in concert with each other. That's
Steve, I have to tell you,
very kind of you.
You are one of the most articulate, Steve, you are one of the most articulate people that I know. And Tony's quite good at this too. When you're complimenting individuals or agencies, you have a way of spelling it out that is, both of you, that is truly remarkable. And that's a gift. Yeah, it truly is. So,
as I said, I've just listened to your talk about, I was like sitting there saying, I can see myself in that position of you talking to me about the sentencing. I mean, you put people right in the story, and that's, stories are so effective, right? I mean,
we were referring to sentence. I can't go through the story again, Steve. I doubt that you heard it, of sentencing.
No, I didn't hear it.
Yeah, it was a
good.
It's an interesting story.
At all. I want to just stay free.
I run into people even today, even now with masks. I'm on and I'm proud of this, Steve, because I know how strong and aggressive you are in trying to battle the opiate addictions. But I recently, about 6 months ago, I'm online, and one of the cashiers, I have the mask on. She can't recognize me. She goes, Judge Williams, and right away, every time that I see somebody and I go, you look familiar to me, they put the cross up and they say, no, it wasn't me. But she goes, yes. And I go, how did you? She goes, I recognize your voice. I said, I hope it was for a good reason. She goes, no, I was a defendant. I said, oh. I said, I hope what I did you feel was justice. She said, I did not at the time. But she said, I was in and out of the system repeatedly, and you scared the hell out of me. And she said, you gave me 6 months in jail and 5 years probation unless I was willing to enter drug court or something of that nature. And it scared me. And she said, I sat in my cell for 3 months, and I came clean in the 3 months. And I had a solid month that I was in my cell, clean of the addiction. And for the first time, I said, is this where I want to go? And she's telling me this story, and there are people online behind me.
Moment of clarity, yeah.
And she goes, that I was able to look at my life and where it was going sober. And she said, since then, I'm out now. And she said, I hated you at the time, but now you helped change my life because I have a job. I've become a counselor for other people going through it. And it's just, it's amazing what people who have found the light, whatever the motivation is, and it's got to be, people have to be wanting to correct their addiction. And then it's a struggle, as you know more than I, it's a struggle to overcome the opioid problem. But it's so fulfilling to have people like that. And she was open up at ShopRite in front of all of these others. And I thought I was going to get an earful. It was nice. It was good.
So we need to formally introduce Steve as the Chief Executive Officer, President Chief Executive Officer of Ellenville Regional Hospital. Good morning again. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. Tell us how you're coping with the new spike in COVID cases and what's happening down in the great area of Ellenville.
Well, the great area of Ellenville is doing pretty well. We have a lot of business activity. It feels like the place is really coming to life.
Wow,
so things are good there in that respect. But on the COVID front, we've had more COVID patients in our inpatient unit than I think our busiest day where half of our patients were COVID positive. So
what do you think the cause of that is?
That was last week, not that long ago.
Steve, what do you think the cause is? Is it the Delta variant? Is it the original COVID? Is it, as President Biden would say, Omicron? Omicron.
Delta is bad. If you look at Omicron, isn't here yet, so we don't know.
Okay.
We've heard differing things that it's going to be more contagious and less acute, less likely to be hospitalized. But that's based on South Africa, where they didn't have vaccine, and a lot of people got COVID, so they're getting it again, and they may have had some immunity.
Oh,
and
interesting.
That may have been the reason why they didn't have as bad of a reaction. So it's really too early, I think, to know how bad that will be. But the high communicability
of it,
is something to really worry about.
Yeah. But it seems
what's
that
also kind of interesting is that of our hospitalized patients, they're almost entirely people who did not get vaccinated.
Really?
Very, very few breakthroughs. I think maybe we've had one or two, but almost all of them have been people who have decided not to get vaccinated. And so it appears, from a relatively small sample, that if you're not vaccinated, your chances of being hospitalized
much higher.
Are
Steve, is there any way, from that group of people, is there any way to determine if those people that now have COVID had received it previously and had some form of natural immunity? Did that question make any sense?
A little bit.
Statistically.
Well, a little bit. I think that people probably do get some natural immunity from surviving it.
But is there any way when you get someone that comes into the hospital?
I don't know if we can measure it. That's the problem.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
So there is no way.
So some people may get quite a bit, and other people might not get very much. And I don't think that's been studied enough to really understand that.
Why is that?
I wouldn't count on that. I would say you're better off just getting the jab and getting it over with.
I don't think there's any reasonable person anywhere that would not recommend getting the vaccine. Everybody should get the vaccine. To me, it's a no-brainer. The question is whether people should be forced. That's a more sensitive issue. But
Lawrence came back up from Florida, and he was saying, 38% of the folks in Florida have been vaccinated, and their numbers.
38%.
No, I don't even think it's 38, and no one wears a mask.
Yeah, and their numbers are basically the same as our numbers.
I think they're actually lower, and 92% of the state or 91% in New York is vaccinated.
Yeah, so it's
all of this doesn't make
it's
any
hard
sense.
to decipher.
Until
it really is. There's no logic
here in Ulster County. It's about 70%, at least according to
7-0.
I think Ulster County has a higher rate of vaccines than most other surrounding counties. There's something. Ulster's been pretty good, but it should be higher. Until someone is able or willing to do a study to find out the reoccurrence of people that have already received COVID previously and have a natural immunity. There's got to be some study to convince these other people.
So here's where I think the flaw is in if you do studies, that's fine. This is so individual with people. It's just I'm not sure I guess you can put 1,000 cases together and look at each one of the cases, or 5,000 cases, or 10. Somebody's doing that in the CDC, I would think. I'm not sure where they're studying this stuff, but
apparently they're not keeping
so
records
random.
of that.
I think it's fairly random. You have no idea where you pick up the virus from, right? How do you know where you get it? You don't know.
Generally, you don't know.
And so
and also, Tony's correct. The way it manifests itself varies from person to person.
Right.
It's quite a bit of variance. So some people it doesn't even know they had it.
The people that you see that are coming in
die.
the people that you see that are coming in, and it's a small percentage that are vaccinated already. Are the symptoms, are the consequences of getting it, the breakthroughs, are they as serious, or is at least it minimized, more mild?
I don't think we had anybody who's been hospitalized as a breakthrough.
Wow, that's great news.
Yeah.
And I have heard that, but it's we're hearing it from the horse's mouth, if you mind saying that, Steve.
He's been called worse, I'm sure.
There's a compliment in there somewhere, Joe.
Yeah, it's part of the horse's body. The parts I've been referred to, it's on the opposite end of the mouth, apparently. But you see it personally, firsthand, so it carries so much more credibility than listening to either the Fox News people or the CNN.
It's hard. It's so hard to figure out who to listen to and what group and what body, and Dr. Fauci this and CDC that, and other folks studying something else. I mean, it's just almost, it is mind-boggling.
It's so confusing to, it's so confusing to the brightest people.
Yeah.
There's some people that don't have that gift. How can they wade through all of this?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just trying to do Medicare. Very simple.
Let's shift. Peter Ryan, Medicare. Let's shift, Steve, to the economy down there, and I know there's a big construction project going on in Ellenville, or about to go on in Ellenville, correct?
Yes, that's true. There's going to be a large marijuana growing and processing plant that's being built in Ellenville.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's picked up a hammer yet. They're going through the process for approvals, which probably will take a little while.
Yeah, and that's
I'm
great.
embarrassed to say I don't know what the law is now for marijuana. Is it now that it is legal to possess it for recreational use? It's always been. It's not been. So. It was never a crime in the past 40 years to possess a small amount of marijuana.
Yeah.
It was not a crime. How that got out,
I think there's some quantity changes, Steve. Is that right, in terms of what you can have personally? And
I'm not the expert in this at all.
Yeah,
all
definitely
I know is that it's about 300 jobs.
It never was
a
community,
300 jobs. And what's really important is when I talked to them, when the folks from Cresco Labs came in with their executives, and the town fathers wanted me to show up, show some support. I kind of started with, the first question was, well, do you plan to have health insurance for your employees? Otherwise, this will be a real short conversation with me.
Right.
They said,
great
yeah,
question.
we're going to have health insurance. We've got thousands of employees. Everyone's covered with health insurance. I said, well, pull up a chair. Let's have coffee here.
Have a cup of coffee.
Where is Cresco from? What's their origin? Do you know, Steve?
They're based in Chicago.
Okay.
So it's a big company. They're in, I think, 16 states. They're coming to New York. They are really a very technological organization. I was quite surprised at the process. They have all of this is very, very well understood. They have employees that go and prune the plants, and they have the light is all controlled, the humidity is controlled. It's like it's sort of like paradise for marijuana plants and
marijuana users.
They harvest them, and they have like a giant kitchen. That's how they described it for their processing. And they're able to, it's quite scientific. They're able to measure the different components of the plant as they process it. So they make both medical pharmaceutical grade products as well as recreational products.
Yeah.
And they're able to
control
They're able to separate the control and separate the components, and then be able to, when you buy it, you know what level of potency
Right, it's
you
consistent.
are getting. And
Yeah.
that's really, I mean, I don't know anything about that, but I found it quite interesting. So they're like a pharmaceutical company that's extracting the usable components, which there are several, quite a few actually, depending on what you want to use it for. You know, recreational, you've got the THC, which is for some big long chemical name that's the psychotropic part of it.
Something.
But there are other parts also that are good for all kinds of things. Supposedly, I haven't studied it at all, so I don't really know all of those.
Steve, for years we used it for cancer patients, right? I mean, it's in terms of
MS,
nausea, anti-nausea.
Right.
They use it for pain.
Right.
It seems to help ease
Probably
pain
migraines.
for people.
Yeah.
Migraines.
Yeah.
So
know
there's
MS.
a lot of medical uses, but I think that their main interest is the recreational because that's a much bigger market.
Do you think that they'll be able to compete? Because this is the $6 million question. Will they be able to compete price-wise with the illegal distribution?
Go ahead, Steve.
That's the problem.
I can't speculate. I think that they will, though, because I think the illegal is going to be they're going to flood the market, like it's been done in other states that have legalized it, where I don't think, why would people take any risk if they didn't have to? I mean, sort of like bootlegging. There's not a huge market for bootleg alcohol, at least not that I'm aware of.
Well, my opinion on that is if it's cheap enough, you know,
People are gonna buy
the
the
street
cheaper.
folks are going to buy it. The folks that, you know, maybe have a job and want to dabble in,
And the problem is it's the people
marijuana
that,
use, I think may not mind paying the tax on top of what it is. So it's
the people that are coming from the lower economic areas of the community
Yeah,
are
they-
not going to be spending more money.
Not
That's
necessarily.
That's what
Right.
really has to be addressed.
Yeah.
And then obviously the potential increase in driving while ability is impaired under.
Yeah, there's issues.
There really is no ability to test that short of a voluntary sample of blood or urine. So there are some concerns yet, but
Yeah.
it does look like it's taking a step in the right
Steve,
direction.
I just want to touch on the job creation issue, and I know that it's going to be down the road, I guess. Maybe some construction jobs will come into the area once they clear all their approvals. But, you know, and I say this up here as well in the Kingston area, you know, we're Tech City or Kingstonian, doesn't matter what project it is. You might say we're creating X number of jobs. We need the humans to actually be here to take the jobs. Well, even to take the jobs, we know that there's such a disproportionate situation going on with so many jobs and not enough workers right now. I'm hopeful like in a year or so, this thing is going to level out, or into 22, there's going to be folks coming back to the marketplace to work. What's your opinion?
I'm just bewildered by how few people there are looking for work. It's so hard to hire healthcare workers. I have no idea how we're going to be able to replace our staff that are aging out. Looking forward to retirement because there's nobody in the pipeline. It is barren.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what youth is doing right now. When I talk to my friends in education, they say that they're not getting anywhere near as many students as they used to. So they're all scrambling, trying to figure out how to find students. And that's I just see it everywhere. Every industry. You talk to people who own restaurants. They can't be open as many days or as many hours because they can't get help.
It's a national crisis.
Well, the extra checks have stopped now. I mean, what are the motivations? It's hard once you've had time at home, especially if you have kids, to uproot again and go get a job if you are financially in a position to take care. So those checks, the stimulus checks were great, but they also were harmful.
Look, the reasons are myriad why people are not working.
Right.
I mean, we'd have to be here until noon to talk about that. But one of the thoughts I have is we want to add to the national deficit, take $1 trillion and do what FDR did and put people back to work.
Have them work.
Have them work for their money, honey.
Let's not go back to the welfare state we had when I was growing up.
But you want to,
have them work, and then you learn all of the benefits. But let's pay these people too.
Right.
Not just what is it? $8 an hour? How can anybody live on $8 to $12 an hour? Steve, what are some, if you can, we have 2 minutes. I'm sorry. What are some of the jobs that are open at Ellenville Community Hospital? What are the positions? What are the requirements? And basically, what are the pay areas? I don't mean to put you in a difficult
about a minute
position.
and a half.
So let me address that a little bit, because this is you talk about $8 an hour. Nobody works for $8 an hour, Judge. Just
right.
So you know that
forget that one.
That's long gone. You're not getting anybody for less than about $15.
Correct.
Right.
And if
but even then,
$15 an hour, you're not getting any applications. That may be
right.
people that are already there.
Right.
So I mean, we just are working on our budget for next year, and our labor costs that we're estimating based on where we are with market adjustments that we've already made and raises for our union labor will be up about 15.9%. That is, I've never seen that.
That's
in
crazy.
1 year.
It's right about what inflation
year over year.
Yeah, that's
just to keep our staff.
Steve, that's on the price side, right? That's on the price side. That doesn't include adding more staff, or is it just taking a $20 person and making that person $25 or whatever? I mean, is it price and quantity on the labor side? More people.
Well, there isn't any quantity. There's nobody to hire.
Right, exactly.
So
it's a prayer for
quantity. We need nurses. We need all every
category,
every part, everything. That we're. But particularly nursing. Nursing is such in demand. And we have, with COVID, we have a huge demand. The hospitals have been cut back for years because of technology and pharmacology, where we don't have as long a length of stay. So if you have a shorter length of stay, then you don't need as many beds. I mean, and then COVID comes along where people are really sick for a long time, and we need a lot of beds, and we need a lot of staff to take care of them. They're really high maintenance to take care, not that they're high maintenance people, but to be able to doff and don all the PPE and to get in and out of the room.
The process is very demanding. Steve, unfortunately, we got to move on. All the answers to these questions you're going to be delivering to us in January.
I would love, Steve, if you could.
I'm looking forward.
It's a way that you can promote
yeah.
individuals applying for the jobs, because people just don't know, other than if they go to Tony's
They ain't out there.
agency.
That's part of what Steve is saying. They're on Mars or on the moon. Listen, you and the
knows
family.
it better than Tony. That's his business.
Yeah,
I don't
man.
know how you find people to put to work.
It's tough. It's tough. Listen, have a Merry Christmas, you and the
Steve,
family,
please.
and a blessed New Year, and we'll see you in 22, brother.
All right, take care.
Good talking to you, sir.
All
Happy
the best.
holidays.
All the best, Steve. Bye-bye. Okay, let's go to break.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Grammer. Wounded Warrior Project supports injured veterans by connecting them with fellow warriors, by serving them through mental health and wellness programs, and by empowering them to live on their own terms. No one should face a battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
There was this one time I went snorkeling in the Caribbean when I was a kid. It really just blew my mind. We saw the most beautiful corals. I remember thinking they were waving at us as they moved with the ocean. And then there were all these amazing fish. I'll never forget it. It completely changed the way I look at the ocean.
Most of us have a memory of being in nature we'll never forget. Let's protect the world's natural places so more memories can be made for generations to come. Visit worldwildlife.org.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Hi, this is Jared Mans from the Spring Lake Fire Department, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
I know. All right, we're back on, folks. This is Kingston Community Radio. This is Thunder Thursday, baby. We're
First,
here.
I have to apologize again to our guest who's been here a couple of occasions already.
Yeah.
It's District Attorney Dave Clegg, who was good enough again to accept the invitation to be here, because I know, having been there, how busy you are. But I apologize for the Thunder Thursday. It does.
A little enthusiasm. It's, you know, you can, hi, this is Thunder Thursday.
Yeah, why do we call it Thunder Thursday?
Scott Harrington and I came up with that name. Actually, Dan Gatiss came up with that name back in the day, and we were kind of
Dan Gatiss, Dave, what a voice.
Oh, he's got a pearly.
I've been told I have a face made for radio.
You have a face for radio.
Dan has a voice for radio. Anyway.
You are. I mean, they do see you, by the way. Yeah. And this gets published on YouTube after the fact. So
let me suck my stomach. Anyway, this is Donald Williams.
Tony Marmo.
We're good enough to have Dave Clegg here. And again, thank you for coming.
Appreciate it.
It's my pleasure to be with you gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Dave. I worked for you once. I sing your praises regularly, but you are one of the most fearless trial lawyers, and I learned that. Not just when I was DA, we had an arson trial against each other, but and there was one other case that you've referred to that I was obnoxious about. I can't believe that. Wasn't there a case that you said that I was, you didn't say obnoxious, but I was DA. And you said it was.
Oh, you remember that?
I don't remember the case.
I don't remember it either.
I remember you telling us about it.
I just remember bumping heads a little bit with you way back in the day.
Well, you're both competitive people. We were talking about basketball earlier, and the athletic competitiveness that you both brought to the table, to the court, to whatever you did, and it just normally happened as your careers evolved and changed, right? I mean, when you think about yourself as a...
It's true. Being competitive is part of being a good trial lawyer.
It is, and you learn that through sports. Some of it is a gift. My kids used to call it the curse that I had, but it's a gift. But the other thing, I think that sports are so important about, at least team sports, is you truly learn teamwork. And at least when we were growing up, Dave, you learned humility. Confidence, you did.
The smackdowns.
You got smacked down. I remember once George Bucci, who played for Newman, who ended up playing for the Nets.
Pro.
He was 6'2". He could jump so high, playing against Newburgh at Kingston High School. And I was going to the basket, gave him a head fake. He went up, and you naturally time it. Then I went up. He was still up there. My shot ended up about 12 rows back into the bleachers, very close to where my dad was. And boy, did my dad bust my chops. So you learn, no matter, you could be good,
That's right.
Sports, and you have to be confident. You have to be
There's always
aggressive.
somebody better, man.
You
Yeah.
have to lean to. There's always somebody that can embarrass you. So, sports.
You grew up locally?
I grew up
Yeah,
Staten Island.
Oh, right.
Staten Island, city boy.
Right.
But it wasn't too citified back then
Right.
in
Well,
Staten
he is a
Island.
Scottish-Italian man.
A lot of Italians in Staten Island.
Yeah, after the bridge.
So
after the
Staten
Verrazano,
Island,
yeah.
interesting. What was your high school?
Brooklyn Tech.
Brooklyn Tech.
Yeah, so I commuted 2 hours
Wow.
each way to high school.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that expensive? Was Brooklyn Tech?
No, Brooklyn Tech is you took a test to get into the school, Stuyvesant, Bronx Science, and Brooklyn Tech.
Oh, interesting.
If you did well on the test, you can go there free. They're city public schools.
Are they the schools that you hear so much about? De Blasio, Schwanny.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
That's crazy.
And that's something, regardless of your background, you can get into free if you pass certain tests.
That's right.
What
That's
was
right.
the motivation other than the schools in Staten Island, man? Or was it?
You know,
was it-
this is, you see how life takes you someplace,
Right.
right? A friend of mine, Anthony Perillo, came over to Staten
Good
Island
Italian boy.
after the bridge was built. We were good friends in junior high school. His father had gone to Brooklyn Tech. He wanted to go to Brooklyn Tech. He asked me if I would go with him to take the test. I knew nothing about Brooklyn Tech. I knew nothing about Brooklyn.
Right. This is the Verrazano Bridge, too, you're talking about, right?
I went, took the test. I got in, he didn't.
Oh, my God.
He was very happy about
Maybe
that.
he started Perillo Tours after that. I don't
At that time, my late wife was born and raised in Brooklyn Heights. That was supposed to be beautiful. But at that time, what was Brooklyn like?
You know, it was a tough spot right then. This is the 60s, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, there were riots going on.
Race
yeah.
riots.
Yeah, and that was in a tough area. And Bedford-Stuyvesant was something I had to walk through every day to get to high school. And there was lots of stuff going on. And as we talked about once before, I got knifed on the way home from school one time. So it was a tough time in New York City.
Yeah. And then you escaped. Did you play basketball?
I didn't, you couldn't, that's one of the things why I still play sports. When you're commuting 2 hours each way.
Yeah, there's no way you can.
There's no way. I made the baseball team as a freshman, but I couldn't handle it. They take you out, Bayside. Yeah, right. And you got to get home at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Couldn't work.
But you do learn. I mean, you have to be aggressive. You have to be competitive. You learn teamwork, and you learn humility. I think sports should be a part of every child's life, and you don't have to be a star to learn and experience those character traits.
Right. Basketball's a great game that way. You can play defense. If you don't do anything else, play defense.
Right.
That's
Can't
just hard
shoot,
work.
play defense,
That's
right.
just hard work. Rebounding, that's just passing the ball, seeing, what teammate is open. All of that is instructive.
The thing about
Yeah,
basketball, especially all sports, and God, I have to be careful how to say this, although there are no ethics anymore, but I came from lower middle class. You're exposed to individuals and classes you would not economically and racially that you would normally not be exposed to. And I became close friends with many people that during those days you would not get to meet and know. And I can recall vividly them having dinner at my house with and my mom. My mom and dad loved
up a storm.
that came in, but you really got to see something you may not see otherwise. So sports are great.
Yeah.
Yes.
On the DA front.
Yes.
How is it going?
We're doing quite well right now. We're just about fully staffed for the first time since I got the job. We're missing right now just a receptionist position, but within the last month we got 2 more really high-level experienced ADAs to come into the office. And
that's great.
Yeah. So, now we're getting ready for trial, getting ready for all the trials that are coming that are lined up for the next year and a half.
Our trial's coming, because I know there's only been one jury trial in one particular.
That's still all we have. We're just talking with the court yesterday that doesn't seem like, the spacing is the problem.
the issue, right.
There's only one courtroom in this county that's large enough for that to happen.
So you have social distancing or.
That's right.
But that courtroom, and you know, I went through it as both an ADADA
right.
and judge. That court is a Supreme Court courtroom, the ceremonial courtroom, but rarely do trials occur, as you know, in civil court. Criminal court, the trials occur. And it puts you in an incredibly difficult position, because you don't make that decision.
Right.
The court makes it. Puts you in an incredibly difficult position when the Office of Court Administration or the individual judge will not try cases. You know this, Dave, you need to try cases to send a message that if you're held accountable, the consequences, if just, can be severe. Otherwise, you're going to have a continued backlog of cases forever.
Exactly.
So, what people have to understand, that is not the district attorney's decision. You don't call when or where the trials occur. That's the Office of Court Administration and the individual judge. Because I do know you've had...
Who's the Office of Court Administration?
Office of Court Administration... I'm sorry, Dave. I can... Go ahead.
Well, actually, it's run by the Chief of the Court of Appeals, right? So it comes down through all the levels of the court system.
Okay.
Family court and county court, and Supreme Court, and all the appellate divisions. So they make the rules for what happens with respect to the judges and who's going to be available and at what periods of time. With the Omicron issue coming, everybody's once again concerned that there could be another shutdown. And we don't know. We certainly hope that doesn't happen, because that's what put us, and we're still backlogged, obviously. Yeah. We're still backlogged. We still have double and triple the caseloads that were ever there before.
Right.
And, we're starting to resolve a lot of cases, but still the backlog is there.
Until there is a fear that if you go to trial, you may pay the consequences, people are not as willing to plead guilty. And the Office of Court Administration, if I can, then we'll get back to Dave. That was put together by legislation early on when I was an assistant DA. We didn't have OCA initially. And the intent is great, as most legislation is, to unify the courts so there wouldn't be such dramatic differences going from court to court. The problem is it has become a bureaucracy. And although judges are a part of that bureaucracy, sometimes they lose touch with being justice or being judges and become bureaucrats, and it can drive one crazy. So,
what's happening with crime generally, in your opinion, Dave, in terms of level up? I mean, statistically, do you know?
Right. We've, as you know, there were during the COVID year, right? During 2020, there were 20+ shootings in Kingston. We have, over the last 9 months, convicted half a dozen people who we think were intimately involved with a lot of those shootings, and those people have received incarceration in state prison as a result of that. And I think partially as a result of that, the number of shootings have gone down. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen anymore, as you know.
Right.
But it is a deterrent.
It is a deterrent.
For the most violent.
Right. And as you know, one of those persons just got 10 years in prison as a result of that. And that word gets out there. So
that was on an extremely difficult case, Dave. That was a case that, again, was a tough case for the prosecution to go forward with, and you succeeded and should be applauded for that.
Right. Well, that's just the example you were using, the Mason murder case, Gilbert Thomas case. We were ready to go to trial the next week. That's what got the plea there, and we were loaded for bear for that. And but one of the considerations that we have, one of the difficulties we're finding is witnesses do not want to be involved in those cases.
Extremely reluctant to testify.
And one of the witnesses in that case was going to be a young woman that we didn't want to put through that. So it was part of the consideration, although 20 years to life was an appropriate sentence in that case, and it sends out once again the message that...
There's a message.
Yes.
And it does. Look, the individuals that commit that type of crime typically, and I'm generalizing, typically don't read the Freeman.
Right.
But word travels.
Yeah,
It's
street talk.
amazing.
The
Street talk
yeah.
within the facilities,
Yeah.
it gets out. So it has, within the facilities principally, because they intercept all those communications at the jail.
Yes.
And the guys used to come back and play it for me when I was judge.
Yeah.
It gets out, and it does have an...
Typically, these are drug-related or gang-related or just isolated, random.
You know, I think you almost always see that connection of drug dealing and guns.
Right.
And it's an unfortunate combination. Right now, I mean, two of the focus areas obviously is violent crime and the problem that we have with fentanyl-laced heroin, because that's creating this overdose catastrophe that we have.
Could you explain to the listening audience what fentanyl is and why it is so dangerous?
Right. Fentanyl is actually, depending on what type of fentanyl you get, and it can be chemically changed very easily, fentanyl is 50 to 100 times more powerful than heroin. It is also cheaper than heroin.
Cheaper than heroin.
So that it's used as a filler by people who are totally incompetent.
Yeah.
And so it's like playing Russian roulette. Who mixed this bag?
Yeah.
What batch did you get? How powerful is it? That's why there was the one occasion where we convicted somebody for the first time of manslaughter as a result of an opioid dose, because
I think that's the first time in the history of Ulster County. It may have been one other case, but it most certainly is something significant.
Right.
It gets the message out to people that lace their drugs for profit. They make more money when they lace it with fentanyl than if they use the heroin.
And it's a terrible thing about addiction is that they want that better high. This is really good stuff. People have overdosed on this. You know, have your Narcan next to you, but you can take this stuff. The case that we convicted the person of, he knew how powerful. Other people had overdosed on it, and he kept selling it. That's right.
Not that you intend to kill, but if you're aware of the risk and you consciously disregard it, that becomes manslaughter.
And the trafficking
Good
routes,
prosecution.
There you go.
The trafficking routes are impossible to stop or find, or they just spray out. If you catch one, it just...
Well, that's right. You know,
I mean,
the drug war has been going on for 50 years,
years,
guys.
years. Right.
It's almost impossible to stop the distribution.
Right.
We pay attention to that. Paterson, New Jersey is a place where it's been coming up from. We've convicted a number of people from Paterson, New Jersey. And in fact, the manslaughter case was a person from Paterson, New Jersey. There's Springfield, Massachusetts. You know, you can jump off Pennsylvania. You know, we have the meth problems. I wish I had an answer for this. There isn't.
Very complex.
Right.
But you're approaching it, Dave, and you're a person of faith, which I always mention when we talk about you. But you're approaching it both ways.
Yes.
You're trying to address it as we did unsuccessfully with drug court and other alternatives to incarceration. But at the same time, you're certainly not afraid or hesitant to hold people accountable that deserve to be and send a message of deterrence. And you're doing that now.
Yes.
You're doing it.
Yes.
And I just wish the media would cover that aspect as quick as they are to cover the other uncomfortable aspects.
Well,
you're doing a hell of a job there.
You know, the media, what's a concern is, as you say, the one moment in time where one of the ADAs didn't make the timely application to the grand jury.
Which was?
Somebody got out for a week. The person had been out for 6 months before that. But somebody was out for a week. He was then indicted, back in jail, everything's done. You didn't see anything about that happening, right?
Right.
Like, none of these consequences that got a headline meant, affected anything. All these prosecutions have happened.
I have some personal issues about that because it never should have gotten. The media never covers this stuff.
Right.
Somehow they got a copy of the judge's written decision, which
you won't speculate on that.
You and I have discussed it. And I have strong feelings
Not
about
on
it.
the radio,
You're too much of a gentleman and professional to comment on it.
Well, the media is the media. The media wants to sensationalize.
They've been around
things,
forever too,
and so that's fine. And they do put out the press releases. There was just a case 2 days ago where somebody, and this was a guy from Kentucky, who came in and he was dealing fentanyl-laced heroin, and he got 3.5 years in state prison. It's in there if somebody wants to pay attention. It's out there. But yeah, we're still trying to do both ends. We're still trying to work on preventing crime. So we received a $500,000 grant to work with our IPVI program, our Intimate Partner Violence Intervention program, that we are now trying to go county-wide with. So we applied to the Department of Justice. We got a $500,000 grant. We are using that to support law enforcement in their extra efforts to help us with this program. It's expanded to Saugerties, expanded to New Paltz, expanding to the Sheriff's Department. KPD has already been doing it for the last 3 years. So all of that is something that we're trying to do on the other side, trying to intervene, trying to prevent it. I and actually Chief Tinty have been involved in personal discussions with people who are moving through the process. So at every level, we intervene. We say, you're on our radar. What services do you need? How can we prevent you from doing this again? You have to stop doing this or else we're going to take you more seriously. And then there's a B-level notification. I sit there and I talk to the individual.
You're talking about the individual who
is
a suspect or expected.
Has been, well, they've actually been, they're either on probation or they've been charged.
Okay. So there's a hammer.
Before. There's a hammer. We let them know that both sides are present, but when you get to our A level, that we're going to take you very seriously no matter what happens here.
So it's similar to drug court, but more intense.
More intense and very up close and personal.
And that's the way it's got to be.
Right. And in fact, it was interesting. One of the persons that were involved, we try and bring in members from the community who have some kind of relationship with them. One of the persons that have been involved had been a student of my wife way back when, and a very, had a wonderful relationship back then. And there was actually a woman who was involved in domestic abuse, and my wife came in and talked to her along with the probation officer. So, it takes the community to reach out to people. They need to know that, people care about them as well. A lot of times they get to this place because it's very dark. They don't see a future. They don't have relationships. They've been pummeled over time. And
true. Not good, viable alternatives.
So, yes.
Yeah. Dave, the listening audience, and I'm shocked by this, but typically they do not understand what the role of the district attorney is. They think it's simply about securing convictions,
prosecution,
and punishing people. Could you explain the full role of the district attorney in doing justice? Could you?
That's exactly right. So that in every case, what we try and do is look at all aspects of the case. Who is this person? Can they be rehabilitated? Is there a way the community will be safer if they can be rehabilitated than if they go to prison and learn to be worse criminals? If that is possible. But that takes the public defender or the defense side to work with us to notify us. We can't communicate with the defendant. So there are times where all we know is that we found this person with a gun on every occasion where he's been arrested, and that there's a lot of fire as well as smoke there.
Right.
There's other times where I received letters from the pastor of the church where the person comes from, and can tell me some other background about. And usually it's not a pretty picture. Usually this person's been abused or neglected or bounced around from foster home to foster home or children's home. So many times the young men and women that we see committing crimes have come from that place. And one of the reasons that I got into this was, the restorative justice approach, which if we start taking that in high school and starting in grade school, that we don't lose kids.
Correct.
If you lose kids, we're going to pay for it on the back end and pay for it, 20 times over. So I see, the overall justice in the community is something I can speak to.
Yeah, that's great.
And that, in school districts, and when we get through this mountain of cases that we have to, which is probably going to take another 2 years, I can spend more time in the community, talking at schools, reaching out to kids, trying to explain. we were talking about the fact that, guns are a big problem. So, there's 500 million guns in our country. It's another thing, the distribution, the pipeline of guns. It comes from Pennsylvania, it comes from down south. How do you stop that? But we've got 14-year-old kids walking around with guns. And
loaded handguns,
not just guns, right?
Handguns,
and they don't know that there's a 3.5-year minimum if you get caught with a loaded gun. Criminal possession of a weapon, second, 3.5-year minimum.
Wow. So which means the judge has no discretion. If the DA chooses to prosecute it as such, the judge has no discretion. They must give, with certain exceptions which are minimal, the judge must give at least 3.5 years and up to 15.
Up to 15 years, that's right.
Yeah, and we're running out of time, and maybe the next time, but I'm curious about this case in Michigan where the young man went into the school and shot up the place, and the parents were complicit in some way, shape, or form. Who the hell knows what?
Well, if the allegations are true, they were criminally.
See, that's a big change, right?
We did that in Ulster County.
You did? Oh, yeah. So
somebody from Sorides, and we'll talk about it in more detail, that the father was prosecuted and received a split bid for the son brought
a weapon in.
A weapon, not a handgun, but into the school. And or at least threatened.
And the father knew about it. Father
knew about it. And then the father hid when the police found out and began to execute search warrants that the kid was either going to or had brought the weapon in and made threats against the school. The father then hid the guns in question. So the father was prosecuted.
Didn't these parents give this kid a 9mm as a Christmas present or something?
Well, that's what the allegation. Again, and
I understand that.
The school and the parents, we'll get into
We'll get in,
the school and the parents were on notice that the kid had serious, significant mental health issues, had missed.
Yeah, and earlier in the day, they had asked his parents to come in to talk about it.
And
then 4 hours later, he did the shooting.
They released the kid back into the school without even checking the knapsack.
Right. Yeah, that's.
Those school officials should be held accountable, at least civilly.
They will be, I'm sure.
Maybe criminally.
Right.
We have to know the facts.
All right, we got to probably move on.
Right.
Dave Click, thank you so much. District Attorney, you're doing a great job. We appreciate your approach to this whole thing, and it's refreshing to hear. So thank you. Keep up the good job.
It really is, Dave.
So thank you so much.
Good work. And I know it's been difficult at the outset, but you're doing great work.
We got to get scooting. Be kind. Do a random act of kindness for someone out there, right? Just do that.
One would be, please never wear those glasses.
I was going to say put them back on. I like those babies.
All right. Take care, everyone. Be well, be safe.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, yes.
All right, take care.
Yeah.